C16 at 5, 6.6 million Americans filed for unemployment last week. What numbers look like here in Oregon. Plus, there are 34 coronavirus cases in Lane County. How many people have recovered?
Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 5.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for NBC 16 at 5. I'm Jacqueline Mazer. Another 6.6 million Americans filed for unemployment last week. In total, the U.S. government reports 16 million who are out without a job due to the coronavirus pandemic. It was the second largest number of initial unemployment claims in U.S. history since tracking started in 1967. Last week, Oregonians filed 100,700 unemployment claims. In just 3 weeks, the Oregon Employment Department has received a total of 269,000 claims. Multnomah, Washington, and Lane counties saw the largest number of claims. Hotels and restaurants continue to see the greatest number of claims since Governor Brown's stay-at-home order. The Oregon Department of Employment says they have hired more staff to manage the record claims. Now, to file an online claim for unemployment benefits, go to oregon.gov/employ or call the number on your screen, 1-877-345-3484. Massive layoffs are hitting Swanson Group. The forest product company is laying off around 300 people at its headquarters in Glendale. Company officials say they are reducing production in Springfield and laying off about 150 people starting tomorrow. Swanson says the Roseburg stud mill is still running, but is now down to 80 hours a week instead of 100. Now, Congress pushes for more emergency aid for Americans as record unemployment numbers continue to climb. Chief political correspondent Scott Thuman has the latest developments from Washington.
While Americans are in a unique fight to stay healthy, a more common one is underway in Washington. Republicans and Democrats blocking each other's proposals for more emergency funding, at odds over how much money to provide and where it's needed most.
My colleagues must not treat working Americans as political hostages. This does not have to be, nor should it be, contentious.
I'm afraid that this unanimous consent is basically a political stunt because it will not address the immediate need of small businesses.
That on the heels of more alarming news on the job front. Another 6.6 million Americans filed for unemployment benefits last week. And just as the hospitality industry reports 80% of hotel rooms sit empty, hospital rooms keep filling up. And the CDC is asking employers of so-called essential staff who are still going in to assess workers and send them home if they're sick. But President Trump tweeting Thursday, a key coronavirus model is now predicting far fewer deaths than shown earlier, crediting social distancing. And governors, too, say it's working.
So when people are saying, how fast can we get over this? The fact that we've dampened down and flattened this curve means it's a longer period of time and we have this longer plateau.
But no one can let up.
Don't underestimate this virus. I think that is a mistake we made from day one. We as the collective we as the global community.
While it's almost impossible to tell if predictions like this are premature, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin today said there is a chance that the economy could reopen in May. On Capitol Hill, I'm Scott Thuman.
Like all other parts of the economy, the Lane County real estate market is also being hit. Eugene area realtor Marcia Edwards says pending house sales in the county dropped 16% last month compared to March of 2019. During the first week of April, pending sales were down 24% from the first week of April last year. Edwards says buyers are a little hesitant right now as the pandemic hits a peak. Long term, she's more optimistic.
Well, we were the epicenter of the last recession, and this recession we don't want that role, but we're not going to have it either because we've got a circumstance where we've got great equity position for homeowners. They can hunker down and endure a little bit, and then the market is going to do what it usually does, not like the last recession, but it's going to hold its own.
Edwards says she does not expect housing values to drop, not like they did in the 2008 recession. She predicts real estate will lead the economic recovery. Well, there are now 1,300 coronavirus cases and 44 deaths. Oregon Health Authority announced 83 new cases and 6 deaths. 3 deaths in Multnomah County, 2 in Lynn County, and 1 in Benton County. All victims had underlying medical conditions. Meantime, Washington, Multnomah, and Marion counties have the bulk of the cases with 848. Taking a closer look at numbers in our region, Benton stands at 21 cases, including 2 deaths. Lynn County added 3 more cases, bringing the total to 49, including 4 deaths now. Lynn County added 2 more cases and has a total of 34, including 1 suspected death. Deschutes County added 5 more cases and reaches 50 cases now. Douglas County remains at 12 cases, no cases so far in Coos County. Well, the 2 new cases in Lane County are a 66-year-old man and a 71-year-old man from the Eugene-Springfield area. The 71-year-old is in the hospital but is not in the ICU or intubated. The 66-year-old is at home and recovering. Public health officials say social distancing is working in battling the spread of the virus.
We have made such an impact and come so far in the time that we have been observing the governor's orders and practicing that physical distancing that it would really be a shame to see that go away and that progress to go away because we're having such great weather and people are going outside.
8 individuals in Lane County have fully recovered from coronavirus and 19 people are recovering at home. Davis says continue to maintain a 6-foot distance from others if you have to go outside. He also suggests wearing a mask. And if you're wearing and making masks for the public, Lane County is now accepting donations at their Delta Warehouse donation drop-off site. Right, moving on to a first look at weather. NBC 16's Heather Melendez joins us now. Heather, a beautiful day out there. I mean, we're experiencing the 70s, I think.
Definitely. I left for 3 days and we're already skyrocketing in those temperatures. But here's a live look out in Roseburg. Another cool evening as we start to head into the evening time. Another clear day. So if you are going to see those sunsets, it's going to be a great time to do so. Right now we are seeing not a cloud in sight, just another dry day with plenty of sunshine. And we pretty much saw some highs in the 70s all across the board. If you are out in the coastal areas, we're seeing some upper 50s for today, but right now temperatures are starting to wind down. We're starting to drop a couple degrees even out in the coast, and we'll even drop down to the 40s for tonight. We'll see dry temperatures, and Jacqueline, this one's for you. If you're not going to see a sunset with a significant other, you can definitely walk your dog tomorrow. We have more dry conditions and another day of 70-degree weather, but I'll let you know how long we'll see this in my full weather forecast.
Oh, thank you so much. That's sweet. Right, well, moving on, new information tonight on the shooting in the West University neighborhood in Eugene. Eugene Police Chief Chris Skinner says investigators are still looking for 2 suspects after the incident on 15th and Mill. The names of the suspects have not been released. Police believe the shooting was a targeted incident, meaning the 2 suspects and shooting victim likely knew each other. The man who was injured is expected to survive. His name is not being released at this time.
I don't think this is a situation where it was necessarily random, and so as far as an ongoing danger to the public at large, I don't think that's really the issue.
NBC 16 is following the story as it develops. We will keep you informed with the very latest. Douglas County Sheriff's deputies found the body of a man in Douglas County River Wednesday night. Deputies say 82-year-old Byung-Soo Song from Hillsborough suffered from dementia and went missing from a home Wednesday evening. Deputies, with help from search and rescue, looked for Song. A helicopter was also searching from the skies. Later that day, Song's body was located in North Umpqua River downstream from Hessness Landing. The Douglas County Medical Examiner's Office is investigating the cause of death. Well, moving back to our coronavirus coverage now, Women's Space is continuing to provide services to victims and survivors of domestic and sexual violence during the pandemic. CEO Julie Wiesman says the social isolation can be an especially scary and dangerous situation for people dealing with abuse in their home. Women's Space is offering an additional way for victims and survivors of abuse to contact them discreetly when talking on the phone isn't an option. They're working on an online chat option on their website. It has an escape function that will erase the entire text screen with a touch of a button or when the chat is idle, as well as redirect browser windows.
Possibly an alternative method for survivors to reach out for help when it isn't safe to use a phone and talk out loud. Maybe they can text in a quiet way. We're just trying to provide one more avenue to access help.
Women's Space hopes to have the chat option up and running by next week. Well, adoptions at Eugene-based adoption agency Holt International are on an extended pause because of the coronavirus pandemic. It's unknown when parents can travel to see their children, and those children are allowed to go home. None of the children or staff associated with Holt have contracted coronavirus, including the many children in China and Korea who are waiting to go to their new home. The agency has weekly calls with other international adoption agencies and the State Department to stay connected. Holt Director Susan Cox says families abroad with other agencies are making difficult decisions whether or not they fly home alone or wait with their child in their country. Holt continues to protect their own children and staff by donating PPE. Since early March, they've raised more than $65,000 to buy masks, gloves, and sanitizer. United Way of Lane County has chosen 27 nonprofits to benefit from the Coronavirus Community Response Fund. President Noreen Dunnels says that more than 60 nonprofits applied for funding. The request quickly exceeded the $100,000 in the fund, but Dunnell is hopeful that community donations will continue to come in.
The commitment we made at United Way is to get these dollars right out the door. 100% of all the dollars that are donated are going right to these agencies that are most critical and serving the most, pressing issues right away for folks in the community.
Nonprofits are invited to apply for future rounds of funding at unitedwaylane.com. Well, coming up next on NBC 16 at 5, elderly people with underlying medical conditions are more at risk to contract the coronavirus, what a longtime caregiver has experienced so far. Plus, with sunny skies throughout the week, local planting experts share some tips on how to recreate your garden.
We know sometimes dermatology issues just can't wait.
Many people who test positive for coronavirus are often instructed to recover at home, which can really be a strain on the family members or